Welcome to episode 32 of the DCC. This week we've got movie news, this week on YouTube, the animation attack, Gotta Geek Out, 401 on 1901, and Parks news, which is good because Josh is back. Hashtag jail is together. To all who come to this happy place, welcome to the DCC. Hi, Josh.
Hi. So I've been gone for a month. So first of all, before we get into anything,
You've been gone for a month?
Yeah, I just want to rebuttal. Well, not like gone, but not on the DCC, right? I've been doing all my usual things for the network.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I got its rebuttal because I feel like for weeks you guys took jabs at me.
Yeah, Shannon does some pretty low blows, and I've talked to her a couple times about it, and it's just not okay. It's pretty high level bullying, and Shannon needs to stop. I'm sorry, buddy. It's really made me sad to hear those words come from her.
Anyways, let's move on.
No comment?
I mean, I hate you as usual, per usual.
Well, Josh, I want you to know, buddy, I've missed you since you've been gone. You make the show a delight, and I love you, man. And yeah. And anytime I'm sending shade your way, it's shades of love.
Is that what it is? Just like shades of love?
Well,
is
yeah.
that the 50 shades
of
love?
50 shades of love.
Cool.
No, seriously. I love when we're all together. Last night I was in bed, and before I fell asleep, I was like, I miss Josh, and I miss being around you. I miss our time together in Disneyland and continuing to edit videos of us together. Yeah, just makes me think about that. I miss you, buddy.
I've actually been shooting new videos and moving on.
Well, that's because you live at the park, so that's great for you.
That's true, and we'll get to talk about that later on in the show.
Yeah. This is a good one. I really appreciate it. It's great. It's nice that there's a new review. 5 stars. In a world full of many Disney podcasts, this one stands out. I can always expect something unique from Network 1901. And when I say unique, I mean in a good way. They're always pushing themselves to release current, interesting, and fun content. Dale, Josh, and Shannon are all wonderful and easy to listen to hosts. They have wonderful chemistry as a group. I'm always excited to see a new Network 1901 episode in my feed. And that's from Alexandra.
Yeah, Dale, our chemistry is fantastic. Yeah, no, great review, though. I'm sorry if there's just a bunch of hate right now. I don't mean it to be such a hateful episode.
Yeah, you're really. It's because I think you're hot and sweaty. I've just not been able to, get in all these jabs here and there, so I have to overload. But we've been talking. We've talked. So you've just in real life, we're just I'm just gonna wait to blast you.
Yeah,
people on the show
need to know. People need to know. No, that was a great review though. So thank you for that.
I think I said her name weird too. It's Alexandria. But she's on Instagram a lot, communicating with us and liking stuff. So that's cool. That's a super nice review. I really appreciate it. Please leave more reviews. This is currently the worst episode of all time of DCC history. So please leave a review. It means the world to us. It helps us out. Helps people find us. This is another Canadian review. So there's 2 Canadian reviews in a row.
So the U.S. needs to catch up, is what you're saying?
I'm just saying that the American listeners are letting Canada take their job, And
we have 3 American hosts.
We have 3 American members, 2 American hosts. But yes.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing that I want to bring up before we really, really jump in is on Patreon. We have a new patron, Angel Lopez. We have I want to say like around 9 or 10 patrons at this point. And if you saw my video from Not Scary Farm, I was doing interviews, but I actually didn't have any of that interview within. And that's because I was actually, the video camera did not pick up anything. But I actually did get those interviews, and all of those interviews, I'm going to put up like an exclusive Patreon podcast of all that stuff.
Cool. That's fun.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to that stuff, please, Patreon's a great way to help support the show, and you can donate as much or as little as you'd like and get a bunch of extra cool stuff.
Fun. Yeah, that's super cool. Also, you know, a dollar Patreon thing goes longer and is much more helpful than you giving us a big amounts. You don't need to give us big amounts. You don't need to give us anything, really. A review is nice, but if you so want, $1 goes a really long way for us because, you know, it's $1 over time, and that helps. And we need some new hardware. You know, we want to continue to bring you the best content that we can possibly provide, and that is the best way to do that.
Yeah, and let's stop being an advertisement now, and let's move on to a great show. That we're gonna have a great show, Dale.
Yeah, I'm the host. I could totally do that myself. So thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for helping me. Let's talk some movie news. Leonardo DiCaprio is being pursued to be the Joker in the Martin Scorsese produced 1980s Joker film.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a great choice.
I totally agree.
I do. If that is the case, of course, Scorsese is going to choose Leonardo DiCaprio as well. I don't know what so DC's going to have multiple movie universes now, I guess.
Maybe multiple universes within. They've done this in the comics before, though, right? Like where they've had multiple of different characters. They've had like multiple Supermans and multiple Jokers and things like that. And of course, like similar to how Marvel has done things, you know, characters have kind of changed and adapted with times, but like the Joker has been a character that's been very different depending on who the writer and artist were involved. And so that's the same with the movies, right? The Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger and Jared Leto Jokers are all very different. So I'm assuming this is going to be a different spin on the Joker, living somewhere within the same universe, but not really.
I don't know. I feel like they aren't even able to get one thing going properly.
Oh, they got Wonder Woman.
And they're making money. They probably don't see it, all this stuff as quite the loss as we see it, right? Like,
yeah, like Suicide Squad made a bunch of money for the flack that it got. Yeah. And I think Jared Leto's Joker is interesting, and I'd actually like to see it be expanded upon, which it's going to be. Margot Robbie and him are coming back to do a Harley Quinn and Joker film, but it's interesting that they're doubling down on the Joker character. Like, it's fine. Like, the Joker obviously is like the greatest supervillain of all time. I think nobody's going to argue that. I don't know if you would argue that, but I think that he's the greatest supervillain comic book history of all time, maybe in movie history of all time. But why do we need two of them at one time?
Yeah, he's the only supervillain to win an Academy Award. So,
but why do we need two of them at one time?
Well, yeah, different stories. You know, you're trying to tell like the origin, like a different type of origin story, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
It's confusing.
Well, that's the thing is, I think it confuses the brand, but in the sense of like, if there's a really great Joker movie that everybody loves, that they did that's a standalone, if anything, it'll just make people think that it's all a part of it and increase their brand of the DCEU without making the DCEU better.
But then once you go, because then once you go to the Harley and Joker movie, then you're going to be like, where was Leonardo DiCaprio? Why'd they have Jared Leto here? You know, like, why did they choose that? Like,
that's true. Yeah.
It's really strange. Like, Jared Leto, I know, is upset about this whole thing as well. I think he's upset because Warner Brothers might not believe in him as much as he wants them to believe in him.
Well, that's what happens when you act like a weirdo to everybody all the time, trying to like Heath Ledger. Anyways, like he's just trying to make something out of this role and this character and act like he's diving deep and stuff like that. And I'm sure with all the deleted scenes, it would have made a lot of sense for him to have to dive deep. But in the movie, he didn't really need to be that deep, like dive that deep. We all could have played that kind of character, and you put on that makeup, and it would probably be a very easy character to transform into.
Yeah. He's my least favorite of all the different Joker, film-wise.
Easily, but also I still like the Joker, right? Like, it's still, like, that's the thing. Like, just because you're the worst of this great character doesn't mean he still didn't do a good job, and I kind of like the take of that character. So, it's really interesting. I don't know. Who knows? You know what? I don't know. DC and Warner Brothers, they need to figure it out, I guess. I don't know. The fact that they didn't even just take the success of The Dark Knight and make all of their superhero films in like kind of that vein and just make The Dark Knight continue in and lead into a type of, like cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt and, make him a new Batman and just keep that going. Like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you have done that? Like they're some of the successful, recognizable films of all time. And I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're doing this, they could have done that. Like, it's just so. And
there's so many opportunities, and they've just continued to like press the reset button.
And this isn't hindsight is 2020. We've been saying this the entire time. Like everybody. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it started, when they brought on Schumacher in the original Batman series. Yes. Instead of, continuing to pursue Tim Burton or to just drop the series altogether.
Yeah. Batman Forever. People liked it. People act like they don't like it now, but people liked it a lot back in the day.
I liked Batman Forever.
Yeah.
I like going back now. It's real cheese.
Yeah.
But the same with like X-Men. X-Men, if you go back and watch it, you're like, this could have been better.
Yes, X-Men doesn't really age very well.
No.
So also there's some Last Jedi information now because of Force Friday, as of course toys tell us all the secrets.
Well, they tell us. I don't think they tell us all the secrets, but they do. And like, there have been many people who have speculated on so much stuff, like Snoke being attached to like the crystals, and the possibility of introducing those into the latest trilogy.
Yes, the Kyber crystals.
The Kyber crystals, because they've never been introduced in the actual Star Wars films.
Well,
they were introduced in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But Rogue One is, not connected. I mean, it is connected into the story, but it's not the Luke overarching story.
So do you think that Snoke's throne is kind of a...
People have speculated that it's his ring, that's on the toy. But, again, I'm not sure I am 100% on board with that. What I am 100% on board with is porgs. And I'm 100% on board because they have been seen being sold with Chewbacca. There's a children's book that came out that is like Chewbacca and the porgs.
So do you think there's going to be a whole like porgs and Chewbacca, like Chewie saves all the porg people?
Yeah, it's going to be like this weird side story that's just happening, in the background where Chewie and like these other creatures just like have a great old time.
That'll be fun if there's something like that in there, because I think that's Chewie's around and he's still a big part of the series.
But without Han, he's kind of lost purpose.
Yeah. What is he just going to go to being Rey's sidekick? No, he doesn't have that life debt that Chewie had with Han. So
right, and now that he has no life debt, he can just hang out with furry creatures and be like a fun fatherly figure to them.
Yeah. My cat's crazy, and it's like the cat's not around, and then as soon as we start recording, cat's like, oh yeah, sure, you want me to play in all this equipment that you've brought out? Like,
all these wires seem Fantastic.
Sweet. Thanks, Gas. Yeah, no, it's super interesting. The guards look cool. The troopers look cool. BB-9E looks cool. Do you think that BB-9E is only thought of because of the success of BB-8, or they had always planned to have a evil?
Yeah, I think so. I really think the love for R2-D2 going into the new trilogy, they were like, we got to come up with something. And they came up with BB-8, and for that original Force Friday, no one knew who BB-8 was, right? We just saw like pictures of him, and then they bought like a ton of stuff, and then they were like, let's just make another one.
There's a ton of cool stuff that has been introduced because of the toys. It's super exciting. I don't know. I like it. I don't care if BB-9E was invented after or not. I think it's going to be cool to have a little evil BB-8. Also, he said he was a one-of-a-kind unit, so maybe they had stolen BB from somebody and the Empire kept developing it, or the Empire, the First Order. So, I don't know. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it all. It looks pretty cool.
Rey's also like a tinkerer, like she's kind of like this scavenger and is good mechanically. Like we could see that Rey ends up building or taking over this BB-9E unit. And, because BB-8's really Poe's unit.
Yes.
So maybe he goes with Poe, or it goes with Poe, and then BB-9E goes with Rey.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, we don't know. And it's kind of interesting, and Angie and I were talking about this. Like, it's crazy to think this is how popular Star Wars is. That we don't even know who or what these characters are. And there are people waiting at midnight outside of Targets to purchase them.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's totally crazy.
Crazy.
And we won't know for like 4 months who these characters are.
It's like a long ways away. It's like when everyone bought Jar Jar Binks stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super weird. I don't know, but it's cool. And I'm glad. I hope people are going out there. The Forces of Destiny stuff's cool. All the stuff's cool. Get your Star Wars stuff while you can. Because a lot of the stuff doesn't come back too. Like there's some stuff that just is exclusive. So, check that out.
Right.
Let's do a little this week on YouTube.